Hey everyone, it's Bob from Sawdustgaragestudios. Today I'm showing you how I built my cedar bluebird house. So for this project, this is the material list that we're going to need for it. To start out, we're going to need a 1x6 cedar fence picket. This is 6 foot tall. We're just going to need one board for this entire project. Next, we're going to need some blue painter's tape for the glue up process. We're going to need some exterior wood glue. I prefer the Titebond glue. We're going to need a predator guard, a hanging hook, a number 6 1.25" wood screws, some butcher block oil for the finishing process, and we'll need some 18 gauge brad nails. Okay, now let's take a look at the birdhouse and the components that make it up. So for the birdhouse, we're going to have several components to this. We're going to have the roof, which is made up of a 5-inch piece and a 5.5-inch piece. We're going to have the base. This is a 6-inch piece. For the main body of the birdhouse, we're going to have 10 8.5-inch long pieces that are 1.5 inches wide. They're going to have an 18-degree bevel on both sides, and we're going to use these to glue up to make that main body of the birdhouse. So let's head over to the miter saw now, and we'll start cutting out the roof and the base. So start by cutting off the end of the board just to make a clean edge. Then we'll move into cutting the first roof section, which is 5 inches long. Then I'll adjust my stop block, slide that down. And the next one we are going to cut is at 5.5 inches. Adjust the stop block one more time, and then this will set up for the base of the birdhouse, which is 6 inches long. So over at the table saw, we're going to start by setting our angle to 18 degrees. Here we're going to be cutting out the strips that are going to be used for the body of the birdhouse. Each one of the strips is going to have an 18-degree bevel on both sides. So here we're going to start by cutting out the 18-degree bevel on one side of the board, just leaving us with a little scrap piece. The nice thing is with this board, this is the remainder of what's left after we cut out the base and the 2 roof sections of the birdhouse. So next we're going to open up the table saw fence to 1.5 inches, and then we're going to continue running the boards through. So we're going to have an 18-degree bevel on both sides. So you're going to have to flip the board around to get the right orientation. And then you're going to be able to get 3 strips out of this. So I'll let the soothing sounds of the table saw take over from here. So back over at the miter saw, we're going to start by setting our stop block to 8.5 inches. Then we're going to cut out 10 pieces, which are going to make the main body of the birdhouse. So now we got our pieces cut out. We're going to bring them back over to our workbench, and we're going to get ready to glue up. You'll see I actually have my level clamped to my workbench just to create a nice straight edge for all the pieces to butt up against. Next we're going to use a cool little trick that I learned. This is using just regular painter's tape. I'm going to run 3 strips across the back. This is really cool for being able to keep your joints nice and tight when we decide to glue them up. So once we get the 3 strips on there, make sure everything's nice and smooth on there. We're going to flip everything over to the back side, and we are going to get ready to run some glue down the joints. So a little fun fact that I learned along the way with using all this glue all the time. Titebond was actually a company that was founded back in 1935 in Columbus, Ohio. They were actually the first product to use a non-hot hide glue. So basically this is a glue that you could use at room temperature, which eliminated odors and it simplified the assembly process. 1955 they came out with Titebond, the original Titebond, and in 1991 they came out with Titebond 2, and then in 2004 they came out with Titebond 3. So there's probably a little bit more about glue than you need to know, but I just want to share that. So I'll run one little strip of glue on that last edge, and now we are going to start to fold that together. Try to keep pressure on both sides as you pull both ends together. Once they kind of meet up, grab a piece of the painter's tape and kind of pull some tension and lock that in there. And then take the other two pieces, also pulling some tension on it, and lock them in as well. So I'll leave that sit for 24 hours until the glue sets, and then we are ready for the miter saw. So start by setting your miter saw fence to 45 degrees. We're going to be cutting the roof for the birdhouse. So we'll cut one side, make our cut, and then we're going to rotate the birdhouse around 180 degrees, and then we are going to cut the other side. So now that our roof angle is cut, we can head over to the drill press. So here we're going to be cutting out the hole for the birdhouse. I like to use forstner bits. This is an actual 1.5 inch bit. They make for really nice clean cuts, and here I'm just taking my time as I kind of work my way through the cedar. So back at the workbench, we are going to assemble the roof. We're going to start by putting the 5-inch piece on first. I like to throw a little glue on just for some added security. And then we will put some 18 gauge brad nails in there. We'll flip it around. We'll put some more glue. And then we are going to attach the 5.5 inch piece to the other side. Here I'm just taking my base piece over to my sander, and I'm just going to just round over the 4 corners just to make a little bit nicer finish and just having those sharp edges. Now the fun part. We're going to grind some lines into the roof to kind of give a nice cool aesthetic. I have a battery operated DeWalt angle grinder, and this just is a sanding disc that I have on there. So I use it to score the lines for the roof shingles, and then I'll go around the edges and then just kind of round everything off, just kind of smooth it out. This part you can be pretty creative with, however you want to do it. Just have fun, be safe, don't forget your goggles and your mask. One little trick I found too was clamp the birdhouse down to a board. So I found that the clamp will actually fit into the hole that you drill for the birdhouse, and then you can also then attach it to the board so that it keeps it nice and secure when you're doing your grinding. If you had fun playing with the angle grinder, you're really going to like this part. This is the part where we get to play with fire. I'm going to use the propane torch just to darken up the edges and the top of the roof, and then also the base of the birdhouse as well. Just think it gives a nice little contrast. So we're getting close to the finish line. Now we are going to put the base on the birdhouse. I made up a little jig just to show where to put the screws, since I make a bunch of these all the time. But basically you just want to put in 4 screws into the base of it. Important, don't glue this part. This is actually how you're going to take the base off at the end of the season when you want to clean out any of the leftover nesting material that's inside the birdhouse. And so our feathered friends don't get flooded out in their new home, we're going to drill a few drain holes in the bottom of the base. Next, I'm going to install a hanging hook in the top of the birdhouse. I'll include a link in the description for the type of hook I used. Now we've arrived at my favorite part of the process. I'm going to put 1 coat of butcher block oil on the entire birdhouse. You'll see once you start putting that oil on, it really makes the grains of that cedar wood pop, especially contrasting against the torched base and roof of the birdhouse. I like using that butcher block oil because it is food safe, so I figured it would also be safe for the birds and not give off any kind of harsh odor or anything like that that would deter them from making a new home there. The last step in the process is to put on a predator guard. This is just a metal guard I got off of Amazon. It's held on by 4 screws. Just the idea is it just stops woodpeckers, larger birds, squirrels from trying to chew the whole opening to make it larger for them to get in. Plus it also adds a really cool aesthetic to it too. So that's how we built our cedar birdhouse in the shop today. If you like what you saw, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions at all about the build, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And as always, I wish you all happy building.